There we go.
She said she had something.
All right, good evening, everyone. I'd like to call this meeting to order. It is the Wednesday, April 26th, 2023 meeting of the Rocky Hill Commission on Inclusion and Innovation. I call the meeting to order at 5:31. I'm 1 minute late tonight already. All right, first thing on the agenda is a roll call. I'll start down here with Commissioner
Maria.
Maria
Librero, Judge.
Commissioner Kevin Tuttle.
Commissioner Akansha Aparna Ganeshan.
Commissioner Tom Kosker.
Commissioner Rebecca Markowitz.
And Ron Cox.
Thank you. Next on the agenda, appointments and resignations. I don't believe we have any appointments or resignations tonight. All right. Moving right along, approval of minutes. We have meeting minutes from the meeting on Wednesday, February 15th, 2023. All commissioners have gotten a copy of those meeting minutes. Do I hear a motion to accept those minutes?
Motion to accept?
A second?
I second.
Any discussions or questions or comments, edits? I believe everyone here
Not here,
was
so-
present. Oh, actually,
No.
two members absent. Ms. Markowitz, Commissioner Markowitz and Commissioner Libreo Judge.
Right.
Absent, so they'll abstain. On the rest of us, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Right.
Opposed? And two abstentions. So motion passes 4-0. Next on the agenda, report from the Commission Chair. That's me. I don't have too much to report on tonight. We will get to some more substantive things a bit later in the meeting. I do appreciate the public coming out tonight. This is by far our most well-attended meeting, so we appreciate you guys all being here tonight and look forward to hearing from you later on this evening. Yeah, I don't think we really have much else to report on. Will give us plenty of time to give the opportunity for public comment tonight. Subcommittee reports. We have brief reports and updates. We have from the Community Conversations Committee. Commissioner Cox.
Thank you. Good evening to commissioners and good evening to everyone who is here this evening. The subcommittee met on Wednesday, March 29th, 2023, with three members of the 4 members present. It constituted a quorum. We entered into discussions about 3 particular topics, which were the goals that were set by the administrative team, and we went into discussions, but we did not make any decisions. The 3 areas, which will be discussed in, I think, detail later, I'll just touch on them at the moment. The walk is scheduled for Saturday, September 9th. Maria, Rebecca, and Tom had previously met, and in subsequent subcommittee meetings, we'll tighten up and flesh out all the particulars. The second goal is a survey. During our meeting, 4 questions were posed for the DGAR subcommittee. I agreed to reach out to Kevin, and Kevin, thank you so much for responding to those. Once I received those responses, I did send them off to the subcommittee members. And then the third is the focus groups, which is, again, we touched base on this, but that was generally our discussions. Because all 3 of those items are on our agenda, I thought we would wait to get to that particular point so you all can hear what we've done and what we've dug into. So any questions at this point? And I might want to suggest you just wait until you have a little bit more clearer. All right?
Any questions for Commissioner Cox? All
Thank you
set.
very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And data gathering, research, and analysis. Commissioner Tuttle.
Sure. So the big news in the subcommittee for the data gathering, analysis, and research team was we had the survey finalized and distributed. Initially was distributed via email. That led to some pretty good kind of initial surge or trend in responses. It's also posted on the website, the Commission on Inclusion and Innovation website. If anyone out there hasn't taken the survey or is interested in taking the survey, please check out the website. And then, as Commissioner Cox noted, there's been additional suggestions and recommendations in terms of other ways to get that survey distributed that we'll start working on as well, so that we are getting it out to everybody and anybody that is willing to review it and take it and give us their feedback. Aside from that, I think that's been our focus so far, and happy to get additional data today in a more direct and real-time manner. So appreciate everyone coming out today. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Tuttle. And I think maybe we'll get a few more survey respondents in the fact that it was on the front page of the Hartford Courant today. So
That's right.
in that article. So they referenced our survey there as well. So thank you. And I think, Dana, we were talking about possibly putting it on our sign, the town sign that's out in front of, off Old Main Street.
Correct.
Yeah,
That's
so
correct.
there'll be some other stuff happening.
Great.
Thank you, Commissioner Tuttle. Consent agenda. I don't think we have anything on the consent agenda tonight. Dana, is that correct?
No.
Nothing on the consent agenda. Okay, old business. So the two topics additional are focus groups. So I'll look at Dana to provide an update, I think, right?
Absolutely.
On the focus groups and just tell us where we're at.
Sure.
Thanks.
As a reminder, the commission is charged by ordinance with developing action items and goals that arise from the community of Rocky Hill, the residents' priorities. And so taking their cue from the community requires, of course, that the commission go to the community and find out what's important to the community in terms of objectives and goals. With that in mind, we have retained the services of the Daniel Penn Associates organization. And sometime in the fall, we are going to have multiple dates available. We hope that our Rocky Hill residents and business owners will join us with our efforts to comprise multiple focus groups, about 15, 20 to 20 people per focus group, so that we can have conversations, authentic conversations about issues of diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging from the perspective of our Rocky Hill residents and our Rocky Hill business owners. And at this point, we have officially engaged Daniel Penn Associates, and they have a facilitator who has a lot of experience with focus groups. And that's where we are at this point.
All right.
Stay tuned for future fall dates.
Yeah, thank you, Dana. I was going to add that, is that we had been planning these things for the spring, and things didn't quite work out for them to happen in the spring. We actually started the planning of them last fall. There's a lot that goes into this kind of work. So, and right now, we're looking at dates in the fall to do those focus groups. So we'll be looking to the community to participate in those. So stay tuned, and we'll get the word out to have, there'll be a way to sign up to be part of those focus groups. So thank you, Dana.
You're welcome.
Next, Walk a Mile in My Shoes. Would you like to report on that?
Yeah,
Commissioner
sure.
Markowitz?
So we've had a couple of virtual meetings about the topic of the next walk, which will be, as was already said, September 9th in the fall. We're very excited for it. We're still in the early planning stages, but we're looking to reserve the same place that we had last year, which, remind me the name.
And what's Elmridge Park? I don't know.
Yeah, Elmridge Park, yeah. So that's really how far we are thus far, but we'll have more updates as planning goes on.
Thank you. Anything to add?
You want to
Commissioner
describe
Labrie,
it
Judge?
a little bit more?
Yeah, go ahead. You want to?
It's because we've actually got all
walk
these
a
people
mile.
here, right?
Walk a mile in our shoes.
So for
yeah.
anybody who didn't participate last year, it was a walk at Elmridge Park in Challenger Field, and so we used the field itself and had a whole bunch of tables so the kids could play. We had people that took care of children so people could participate, and people were teamed up with a partner, and we had some questions that were a guide. You didn't have to ask those kinds of questions, but it was to get to know something about someone that you just met, and got to know a little bit about. It was a real hot day, but people came out, and it was wonderful. We obviously had snacks and things, so it was a great way for people to meet other people, and we've got some great ideas for this coming fall. So hopefully you guys will look into that, and that would be great.
Thank you. Yeah, so that was last year was our initial one, our inaugural, so to speak, our first annual, and we're holding our second annual this year. So, it was a good event last year. I think we had 30, 40 out or something like that, right? 30, 50 or so, 50, 60 people out, and some of you guys in this room were at that event. So opportunity, again, for people to chat and get to know one another, talk to people that you might not otherwise talk to, right? So it's kind of, again, promoting that inclusive atmosphere and inclusion in town. So look forward to that on September 9th. So mark your calendars and sign up. That's it. Any other comments about the walk? Next on the agenda, new business, is discussion. So the sort of topic of the day, so to speak, which is what brings, I think, a lot of the folks here tonight to our meeting, is a message to the Rocky Hill community. So I'm going to read a statement that we have issued publicly previously, and I'm going to read that statement again. Message to the Rocky Hill community. The Rocky Hill Commission on Inclusion and Innovation provides this statement in response to recent events in our community in which unknown persons littered residents' yards with slips of paper reflecting messages designed to pit us against each other. The Commission condemns these actions of those who spew the rhetoric of hate. We share all of our residents' concern about this incident and understand that actions such as these affect members of our community in many ways. Sadly, the darkness of hate reared its ugly head in Rocky Hill last week. Again, I issued this like last week, so it's a little bit old. And we call on all of our residents to respond with kindness and unity. Take the time to reach out to your neighbors and let them know you care about them. Speak words of support and compassion for all members of our community. The role of the Commission is to listen to members of our community and turn what we hear into action items. To that end, we hope town residents and members of the Rocky Hill business community will offer public comments at our upcoming Commission meetings on April 26th and June 28th in the Town Council chambers and Town Hall. If you're unable to attend the meetings, you can email your thoughts and concerns to Commission Inclusion Innovation at rockyhillct.gov. A meeting agenda will be publicly posted. We look forward to hearing from you. The Rocky Hill Commission on Inclusion and Innovation. A couple additional comments just with regards to our role. So many of you may not be aware of exactly what the role of the Commission is. But this meeting is of the Rocky Hill Commission on Inclusion and Innovation, and we're aiming to address issues that impact our local community. The commission is an advisory commission to the town council. Our role is to listen, to gather input from the community, and provide that input back to the town council. Having said that, the commission has invited some elected and appointed state officials to this meeting tonight. So there are people from the state that are here. The commission looks forward to hearing your input, your thoughts, and your ideas. An additional note, per our standard policy and practice, we are here to listen. I've probably used that word like 5 or 6 times already. Commissioners will not be responding or replying directly to public comment. And I remember one of my first times going to public meetings a number of years ago, and that was challenging for me, right, as a member of the public, to be listened to and expect a response. So I just wanted to be clear for those of you who are here tonight that we will not be responding. So I'll repeat, commissioners will not respond or reply to questions or comments from the public. Having said all of that, this portion of the meeting, we will start public comment. This portion of the meeting is specifically set aside for comments from the public, who are asked to limit their comments to 3 minutes. Any person interested in providing public comment but cannot attend the meeting should email their written comments to Commission Inclusion Innovation at rockyhillct.gov. And with that, I open the floor. Oh, and when you do come to the mic, please just state your name and address if you would. And just so you're not alarmed, I will have someone keeping a timer, just because we do have a lot of people here tonight and we want to respect everyone's time. So we'll be keeping a timer. When you hear the timer go off, no need to freak out. Sometimes 3 minutes goes really quick. So we will set that timer to go once you state your name. So.
Very good. Derek Kalin, 116 Ridgewood Drive. Good afternoon. I'm glad to see so many people in attendance for this discussion. I think it's a visible demonstration that the people in this town, this community, is united in wanting to make Rocky Hill a true home for all of its residents. So for the commission, for the people in this room, for elected officials, including the town council, you mentioned, Tom, being interested in hearing ideas. I would like to propose at least 2. One is for the town to pass a statement on equity. Equity statements describe how, beyond symbolism, the town is taking steps to make a more perfect union, and what the plan is to continue that journey. So ideally, they are rooted in our own town's historical context and the lived experiences of our participants, which is why I'm thrilled to hear that the focus groups are moving forward. So I know the commission is already moving on this. I think I, for sure, and I'm certain other people in this room, want to be involved and support that movement as much as possible, because it's critical for things to improve and get better. I want to say that multiple towns in Connecticut have already taken this step. So Simsbury and our neighbors in Glastonbury have also passed statements on equity. Valerie Triblett, who is in the audience, has done some research and had found numerous other statements, both within Connecticut and at large. And maybe these will be a helpful model. So that's action that could be taken at the town level. I'll use my remaining minute and 15 seconds to say, we, the people in this room, could also do something at a community level. I mean, we're already talking about all the things that we can do at a community level. I think there are some in the audience who are eager for us to come together in a unity event, where there's a visual demonstration that we are proud that our town is home to so many different types of people. And my hope is that we all can work with the commission as soon as possible to promote these sorts of dialogues that are your purview. So I think that's it. The commission can't act alone, and it needs the support of all of us in this room. And I just want to say, if anybody in this audience is interested in getting involved campaigning to the town government to let them know that this is something that we care about, I think there are a number of us who are trying to organize a letter writing effort. So with that, thank you very much.
Thank you, and you made it before your 3 minutes.
2 minutes 42.
He practiced his timer. And I see Valerie moving. Just before you go, Valerie, I'm going to, if that's okay, there were 2 emails that I meant to read at the start of public comment, but it's my obligation to read those because they are public comment that got submitted by email. So I'm going to read those now, if that's okay, and then we'll get back to the public comment. And they'll take much less than 3 minutes each, so I don't need a timer. So this is from Emily Weil, and I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but Weil, to Commission Inclusion Innovation. And the email reads, Black Lives Matter. I am hoping that whoever is responsible for those white supremacist flyers will be educated and punished. Emily Weil, and she leaves her phone number. So there's one email that we got today, actually. And a second email that we got also today is from Amy Carwan, and I'm not sure the pronunciation, but Karwan. And the email reads, I was devastated to hear about another racist propaganda campaign in Rocky Hill. Although I do not live or work in Rocky Hill, I'm a citizen of our small state. Rocky Hill is a CREC member district, and I am disgusted by the impact to your community. Thank you for creating a space for conversation and inclusion and refusing the racist messaging and recruitment efforts that are all too frequent and too damaging to our communities. I reject all attempts to spread hatred towards our black neighbors. I stand with you in support of the Commission's commitment to inclusion. Thank you for your work. Amy Carwan, the director of CREC Research Group, and CREC is the Capital Region Education Council, for those who are not familiar. So that's the second email. And those are the only 2 that we had. I don't believe we had any others, Dana, since then, right? Okay, thank you. All right, thank you. Valerie?
Good evening. My name is Valerie Triblett. I live at 2 Belden Lane. I am the co-chair of the Racial Justice Committee at the Rocky Hill Congregational Church. So I think most of us came here tonight because we are extremely alarmed that our town was the target of racist messaging by a neo-Nazi group that is active in New England. I would really like to emphasize that we need to take this event seriously and counter it with action. This group targets Jewish people, black people, immigrants, and the LGBTQ community. Their rhetoric includes misinformation we hear daily about African American studies, drag queens, and immigrants. They were present at the January 6th insurrection, and they bragged about it. Frequently, when a community faces an incident like this, the natural response is denial. This isn't our community. We don't have a problem with racism. But the truth is, racism exists everywhere, and Rocky Hill is no exception. Some of us can rattle off racist incidents that have occurred in town. We've all seen racism on town social media pages. It is entirely possible there are members of this group in our community. So count yourself among the lucky and the privileged if if you do not feel personally threatened by this act. Because there are people, likely people in this room, who are personally threatened by this neo-Nazi group. And those people need us to unite against this hate. I have been working on racial justice issues for several years in both Rocky Hill and through the support of alliances in Hartford. What I know is that being kind to each other is a piece of being united. I know that exploring each other's cultures is a piece of being united. But doing the hard work of addressing institutional racism that exists in our town systems, practices, policies, and our zoning regulations is the difference between being nice to everyone and being truly anti-racist. So I call on the Commission this evening to begin the process of committing to combat this racist act and others that may follow by developing an anti-racist statement with meaningful and measurable actions, codifying our commitment to dismantling structural racism, and defining expected outcomes for the town of Rocky Hill. Actions might include acknowledging publicly that racism exists in Rocky Hill, organizing a town-supported rally with involvement from grassroots groups, the local Black community, and municipal leadership. Analyzing town practices, policies, and procedures for racial bias and systemic racism. Inviting and engaging our Black community and making them leaders in the process of becoming an anti-racist municipality.
And Valerie, just wrap up if you can. That's 3 minutes. Thanks.
Okay. I sincerely hope the mayor and council give this commission the power to take real action. The Congregational Church and our Racial Justice Committee will support this process in any way possible. And I'm just going to conclude with some words from Martin Luther King. True peace is not merely the absence of tension, it is the presence of justice.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Hello, thank you for coming and letting us tonight. I take this very, my name is Brian Donahue.
Thank you.
Donahue. I live at 83 Springbrook Drive, Rocky Hill, Connecticut.
Thank you, Brian.
I am the parent of 3 children, 2 of them being biracial and being color. About 4 years ago, I went to a meeting at one of the allies up in Hartford. I only speak for my group. And my daughter, my oldest daughter, came out and said, "Dad, I'm concerned." I said, "What's that, honey?" Because we went to a meeting where there was a Reverend A.J. Johnson who was speaking about growing up in Rocky Hill, saying he never had any teachers of Black and that he never really felt part of the community. I started community conversations about 4 years ago, about 2 years ago, with the help of my friend over there, Wayne Winston, who'll be up in a minute. We started Not Just Us. And it was in relation because there were hate incidents happening all across the state. Last year went to each county. We did End Hate across the state, bringing communities together, bringing organizations, faiths. We advocate on behalf of children of color like mine, Jewish and all the diverse faiths, LGBTQIA, foster and adoptive, indigenous, I always had that word wrong, and people of lower income. I took this very personally. I even was very concerned about, do I let my children out to walk the dog? Do I have to worry about some racist group coming after my kids? And so they said that they didn't have anything. I will say I appreciate Representative Wood. Representative Wood has been on my phone calls several times. She's been an ally, a true ally, several times. I worked with her. She's worked great. I appreciate you being here, Representative. These are my kids you're talking about. And I'll be darned if we're going to do anything to my kids or any other children of color. So this weekend, we're planning to have a rally on Sunday. We would love for everybody to come. It's going to be at 1 o'clock. We're working out the venue. I'm asking you to please come because I need your support. This is my kids' lives we're talking about. And I'll be darned if they're going to be, if they're going to have racism. It's already direct. They've already experienced that in this town. They've been called the N-word. They have had teachers who don't look like them. I've asked our community meetings to come together, and they were disbanded after I sent them out, saying that it was, we had two mayoral candidates. One said, no, I'm not going to participate. Doesn't matter who it is. We need to have conversations. We need to have everybody open and speaking and working together. And I thank you for letting me speak, and I hope to see you Sunday. And with that, I'm going to ask if that's okay, my friend Wayne Winston to come up.
Thank you very much for your comments.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Well, as you can see, my friend Brian is very passionate about protecting his family and his kids. And
if you would, I'm sorry to interrupt. Just state your name and
my name is Wayne Winston. I'm on the board of the National Board of the Harriet Tubman Learning Center in Powder Springs, Georgia. We have Rita Daniels, who's the closest ancestor you get of Harriet Tubman. And I happen to live in Connecticut. I founded an organization online during the whole COVID and the George Floyd, and I have a lot of political friends. And throughout that, we created an online program with different cities. Now, I live in Trumbull, so Fairfield, Westport, Southbury, Waterbury, Norwalk. We all came together and we're meeting online, and we literally met with our Senator Blumenthal, Congressman Himes, Bob Duff. Everyone was concerned about the racial things that were happening during that time because there was a presidency that was going on. And what people didn't understand is that a lot of the civility changed in America right about then. When we have a precedent that says, you don't have to worry about your anger. Take it out. Confront them. The far right group was created. They didn't exist before 2008. A guy named Richard Spencer, he's about 27 years old, decided that there weren't enough extreme ideas in Republican Party. That's the one they picked. I didn't pick it. And he says straight out that what he wants is to have a separate country. And that's where the far right terminology came from. You can do your own research. Richard Spencer, he does an interview with Charles Barkley. And he says flat out, I want two Americas. I want the one for them and one for us. He believes in white supremacy. So I'm not mad at black people, but I just believe that we're better and we deserve more. Now, when you have that in this generation, you're talking about 2008, you're going through this whole process where we wind up with January 6th. The racism is real. These people are serious. They're serious as they've been throughout history. When we have our calls, and I started an organization called the Anti-Racism Coalition, which is how I met Brian, and we connected to his group, not just us. We meet and we talk to people all over the country, all over the state. And when we have issues like this, we connect on them. When I'm having the calls with the national board with Harriet Tubman, they're like, we're getting to a point where we're getting the segregationists and the abolitionists. These people are serious. And down in Fairfield, they sent the same stuff out. Go back to Africa, the N-word, and they put them out of school. They literally had kids that were calling each other, that working through this process. Our kids are vulnerable. So this is something, your committee is extremely important because all across the country, DEIs like this are being dismantled and all types of pressure. And I'll finish this because I just heard the clock. In a town like Fairfield, a wealthy town, you literally had teachers who were afraid to teach about Black Lives Matters in the middle of what was going on. They were afraid to teach about anything having to do with race because some of their jobs were threatened. This is how serious and how much it infiltrated our schools and the people that are in there. So the folks that are here, you look like Connecticut with the breakdown of races in here. And I mean, you can't stand for it because I know that's where the majority of you are. So I hope you guys come out for the rally. You have a chance to talk. We're going to organize some things. And God bless you all. They got no place for hate right here in Rocky Hill. I can see that already. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Tejal Valam. I live at 45 Andover Drive, and I'm speaking on behalf of the Rocky Hill Democratic Town Committee to you today. I want to thank you all for holding this meeting. It means a lot to us. A few years back, I personally was involved on behalf of our committee to organize the Black Lives Matter rally in our town. A lot of you here attended that, and that was one of the most moving events that this town has held. A lot of kids from the high school came out, a lot of teachers came, a lot of residents came, a lot of our town leaders, state leaders, Representative Wood, Matt Lesser was there, and that was a very special moment because what we did at that time was we marched from our town green to the front of the Congregational Church, which has a rich history for our town. I heard Harriet Tubman's name being spoken. It's associated with our town's history here. And we knelt for those 9 minutes or so for, to honor George Floyd. And so many comments came back to us after that. From young kids, my own children, who told me that they understood what it felt like while they were just kneeling on one knee, what experience a person who has to deal with racism might be experiencing. And I heard stories about our own kids, many kids in our school system, and I didn't know of them. So I wanted the commission to know that the Rocky Hill Democratic Town Committee supports every initiative that you hold. We would like to be part of it, and we support many of the grassroots organizations that Valerie spoke of earlier. And as we become more aware, this is the one thing that your commission has done tonight, has brought awareness to the issue. And once you bring awareness to it, it's up to groups like ours to make sure that the message is resonated throughout the town and supported by the town. So I wanted to make that statement tonight to say that please include us in everything that we do. And I want to reach out to the town residents to also say that if there's something that we could do that we are not aware of, please do feel free to reach out and make us aware of these situations, and let's get support together, because unity, it is the only thing that holds a town's fabric together, and we're here for that. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your comments. And the mic is open. I know there's way more people here. Like 5 people have already gotten it started, so you don't have to be nervous.
Hi, Melissa Kaplan, 70 Ridgewood Drive. I didn't have a speech prepared, and I just came at the last minute. But I'm a Jewish person who lives in town. My family is Jewish. I have 2 young boys who are being raised Jewish, and this is obviously important to me and my family. We also attend the CREC, which is very diverse, and we appreciate that diversity. We also think and can see with our own eyes that Rocky Hill is a very diverse community. So my question is why Rocky Hill? Why was Rocky Hill targeted? I know other towns are, but why? But why was Cromwell? Was Wethersfield? Why Rocky Hill? So I think that's a question that needs to be answered. And I do think it's important that the leadership in our town issues a statement. I haven't seen one, which I think is not good. I don't think anybody said that, but I'm going to point blank say that. And I know that's the purpose of this, and I really hope that they hear us and a good statement on this is made. I think that's all. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, thank you for that. I'm having trouble getting the thank you in with the applause, so thank you for that.
Good evening. My name is Tim Sullivan, and I am the superintendent of the CREC Magnet Schools, and we have the Academy of Aerospace and Engineering on 7 Gardner Way in your town. I'm here tonight because CREC proclaims itself as an anti-racist organization. We're not just about social justice, but we have taken a stance that we want to be anti-racist. And as such, it's incumbent upon me to come here this evening and show my support for our 600 students and staff that every day go down Brook Street to their school. and we need to make sure that they know that we stand behind them. We decided to build this school in Rocky Hill because we know Rocky Hill is full of good people, that Rocky Hill would embrace the diversity that's in our school. 75% of the people that go in that building every day identify as Black and Hispanic. We need to make sure that they are taken care of. We need to make sure that they are safe. And so I'm here today to say that we are with you. We are with the commission, we are with the town, and we will do whatever we can to support efforts to make sure that everybody feels welcome in this town, because we have no room for hatred, we have no room for bias and discrimination against the Jewish community, the LGBTQIA+ community, or anybody else. So whatever we can do to lend a hand, we're here. We're invested in Rocky Hill, and we're going to make sure that Rocky Hill is a place that is welcoming for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. The camera comes back on to me. It's supposed to be over there. We need to fill that podium. Here we go. We have someone moving.
Hello, my name is Kate Schramm, 40 Orchard Street, Rocky Hill. I want to say, first of all, to echo Valerie and Brian and everyone else's excellent comments, saying that I want to see leadership in this town make a firm resolution, a public action, measurable results. Definitely want to see a plan laid out, a strategic plan, if you will, of how we are going to change as a town to create the structural kind of change that we need to make sure all of our residents feel welcome and included, and that we take a hard look at the baggage from our past that we're hanging on to. We don't want to be that. That's not who we are. And we expect the town to do this. We expect the mayor to take lead on this. We expect you as the council to apply the pressure that you have. And as the residents here, we're here to stand together to make that happen. I also want to say that white supremacy is bad for everybody. It starts off and you think, oh, they're just targeting this group. And then it's like, oh, well, maybe they're targeting this group and this group. And pretty soon you realize, no, they're recruiting white men of a certain type of white man, and they're relying entirely on hate. I'm not safe. My kids aren't safe. Like, my community is not safe. Like, it's bad for everybody, including white supremacists. It's bad for them too. So, so anyway, that's all I wanted to say, and we'll work together to make sure that Rocky Hill is the kind of place we want it to be.
Thank you very much for your comments. Anyone else? There's a lot more people than 7, 8 in the audience. Although, even if you don't comment at the mic, I do appreciate your presence, and the commission appreciates your presence tonight. Here, I thought I was going to be out late. I literally told my wife I'd be out late. So, a couple other quick comments, and I don't want to close the public comment too soon, so I'll pause again. Okay. A couple things to close our meeting tonight. As I mentioned, we have invited some of our state elected and appointed officials here tonight. People have very busy lives, so I think that goes unsaid to everyone, but I'm going to say it anyway. People have very busy lives, so we appreciate them coming. And for those who couldn't make it tonight, we appreciate their support as well, because not everyone can make it tonight. I would invite any of them that are here, if they would like to comment. I don't want to put you on the spot, any of you. I see Alan moving, so, okay, I see Alan moving. And Alan, everyone in the room might not know who you are, Alan, so be sure to introduce yourself and your title, et cetera.
Sure. Hello, everybody. Hello, commissioners again. So I am Alan Tan. I am the co-chair of the Connecticut State Commission on Women, Children, Seniors, Equity, and Opportunity, which is really the state version of what the town has created over here. And thank you again for the invitation to come to this event on behalf of the state. So I will say I was a little late because I had to come from New Haven, but it was important to just make sure that we address the fact that the government cannot solve all of our societal issues. As much as we love the fact that the government can solve it all, we just can't. However, that doesn't stop us from sharing ideas of each other, to work with each other, to figure out ways that we can build a stronger community together. And politics doesn't necessarily have to be a blood sport, but communities start at the local level. This town commission, our town council in Rocky Hill, they are the bodies that govern the town. But they're not the bodies that go and tell people what they can and can't say. Because at the end of the day, every American has a First Amendment right to say what they want to say. Unfortunately, things that I may not necessarily agree with, the fellow commissioners over here in the town may not necessarily agree with, but they have the right to say it. However, that does stop where they may not have, where they try to cause harm or physical damage to other people. Just because you have the right to say something that is harmful doesn't mean you have the right to act on it. And that is the problem that as a society, we need to figure out how to address. As government officials, we can figure out at the local level, at the state level, at the federal level. I've had conversations with my federal counterparts. I've had conversations with you, Commissioner Kosker, and your body over here on these issues. And there's going to be a lot of work that we can do together to help make a better climate for all of our residents, to tone down the rhetoric, to basically make sure that every citizen of the towns, of the state, of our country understand that they have the right to be here, the right to live. Just because somebody says hateful words that I may not agree with, as I said, they have the right to say that. But that does not give them the right to come and act on those hateful things. It does not give them the right to come and shoot somebody, steal their car, or do those things. Those are penal code things that our state legislators are happy to address, I'm sure, if it is an issue that they need to address with. So I will close with this commitment to you at the town, as I am also a resident of Rocky Hill, even though I am a state official. I will continue on behalf of our state commission to work with your commission on recommendations we can make to our respective legislative bodies on solutions, on programs, on services that we can do to bring communities together, regardless of their views, regardless of their walks of life, regardless of the color of their skin or what have you. That is what we are here to do, and on behalf of the state of Connecticut, we will continue to do that. So thank you for having here, and I've listened to those of you that spoke today, and if there are any ideas that we can do at either the state or local level, I'm very easy to find. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Alan. Thank you for coming tonight and for your continued support of the commission. With that, a quick note, I don't see anyone else moving. A quick note, please note that media requests or inquiries can be directed to me, Tom Kosker, as the chair of the commission, just so our media partners are aware of that. And I have a hand raising. I don't have a thing in my notes that says what to do when someone who's already spoken and public comment has closed raises his hand. So I'm not sure what to do with the raised hand. An executive decision.
Just a statement.
A quick statement, go ahead.
Not just us, we're on Facebook, and feel free to stay upon everything's going on here. And the lady had a question earlier about why it happened here. It already happened in
Thank you. Thank you very much. It was Winston, right? Winston. Thank you, Winston. All right, and I'll close with, my wife will be very happy to hear the part after this, which is when I adjourn the meeting. But thank you for your comments, for everyone that came tonight. We really appreciate it. The commission will take your input and your ideas. You've seen many of us taking notes. And at a future meeting, we will put together some of the recommendations you guys have provided, and we'll provide those and forward those to the town council. As I stated in our message, as we stated in our message to the community, we call on all our residents to respond with kindness and unity. And I think we've shown that tonight as a community. So thank you again. I really appreciate it, and have a good evening. Now, actually, I will do an official motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion adjourned by Commissioner Cox. I have a second.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Markowitz. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. And I will